Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oscar Buzz. This is episode 4. And quite honestly, just the next in a long string of Venice videos. But we have some other interesting things to talk about, including Matrix Resurrections, Oscar potential, some trailers, plenty of stuff. So let's jump straight in. All right, everybody. Before we get started, you can subscribe if you want to. Again, I feel weird asking people to do stuff like that, but like you can. And then I'm also on Letterboxd, and then I also go host The Basement with my amazing co-host Mark Knopik. With that out of the way, let's jump into the trailers of the week. So we had the first trailer for Come On, Come On. New A24 film from director Mike Mills of 20th Century Woman fame. It stars Joaquin Phoenix. And let me tell you, Joaquin Phoenix looks really good. He has immediately jumped into my 5 for best actor. I quite honestly think he's going to get in. I know there's been plenty of people who are like, "Oh, well, doesn't look as good as the Joker. He was transformed in the Joker." Well, no, this isn't a showy performance like the Joker was. This is a smaller performance. But from the first reactions we've been getting, it sounds like this still carries a bunch of emotional weight with it. And then the kid, I can't remember the kid's name, but I've heard people say that this is the best young actor performance since Jacob Tremblay in Room. So this movie, like with those two incredible leading performances, like it's gonna get screenplay. I don't want to say I can guarantee it, but I really like this movie's chances for screenplay. I really do. Because Mike Mills, I believe, picked up a screenplay nomination for 20th Century Woman. So it just makes sense. I mean, I know the first thing a lot of us think of when we see black and white is cinematography. This doesn't seem like the movie that would get cinematography. Again, this doesn't seem like a very showy movie. It seems like a very quiet, small, subtle movie instead of being about like the extravagance, which means that it probably won't get Best Picture. This like there's two types of movies. There are the movies that are gonna get like picture and director, and then like screenplay and actor. Yes, that's not always the case, but typically, like for instance, Dune probably isn't gonna get screenplay and actor, but it could probably get director and picture. So they'll occasionally you'll see movies split one way or another, going either which way out of the above the line awards, and I think that this one's definitely going to be skewing more towards screenplay and actor. Then we got the trailer for Don't Look Up. So I talked about both this and the Matrix Resurrections trailer very briefly, in my video on Friday, the Matt's Movie Minute thing, but they were very brief. So I really want to talk about both of these. So let's start out with Don't Look Up. I like this trailer. As I said in my previous video, I don't want this to be too Armageddon-y. I like and just go sci-fi. Because one, I think it would hurt its Oscars chances, and that just isn't what I want to see from this movie. Like, I want this to be like, I don't want to say like a political thriller, but that type of film. I mean, even just like what The Big Short and Vice were. Sticking kind of to that style of film rather than going into sci-fi, which was kind of teased in the trailer. But let's look at Oscar potential. So The Big Short, that picked up director, it picked up picture, adapted screenplay, supporting actor, and film editing. and I believe it won adapted screenplay. Vice, that got picture, it got director, it got supporting actor, original screenplay, editing, and makeup and hairstyling. So what's common here? Picture, director, screenplay, and editing, plus supporting roles. Like, this isn't going to get makeup and hair. I feel like that was just specific to Vice. But supporting performances, and like, his films usually have great ensembles. Like, I feel confident putting this in picture. I feel confident putting Adam McKay in for director. Screenplay, I feel confident in. Editing, I feel confident in. Those all feel really, really strong right now for Don't Look Up. If they do some space stuff, could it get visual effects? Maybe. I could also see this movie, like, again, depending on how much space stuff they do, maybe getting sound. The thing is, with space stuff, it might detract from something like screenplay editing. So there's kind of two scenarios with this movie. How much space stuff is in it? Does it skew more towards the tech stuff, like visual effects, sound? I guess that's really it, but skew more towards that kind of stuff, or more towards like the screenplay and direction type stuff. It'll be interesting. But as of now, I feel very, very confident about screenplay and editing. I would say that those are almost locks right now. And feeling very, very good about director and picture. I wouldn't say like great. I wouldn't call them locks, but I'm feeling very, very good. Acting roles are interesting for this movie because Leonardo DiCaprio is getting no hype. Jennifer Lawrence is getting no hype. Meryl Streep is getting no hype. Jonah Hill is getting no hype. Like, this movie isn't getting any hype for acting. I still feel like this will get into SAG Ensemble just because it's Adam McKay. But I don't know if it will get any acting nominations at the Oscars, which could hurt it because, as I said, Adam McKay's previous two films both got at least one acting nomination. Now you may say, well, Vice and The Big Short aren't Adam McKay's only two movies. Yes, I know. He's done like the Anchorman and something. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of comedies. I'm referring specifically to Oscar stuff that was made for the Oscars, which he's very successful in. I mean, getting picture, director, screenplay, editing for both of his two attempts at an Oscars film, pretty impressive. And I'm feeling pretty good about Don't Look Up. Matrix Resurrections. So this is a film that comes from a franchise. It's the fourth in the franchise. Again, I feel like this feels Star Wars Force Awakens-y, but not in a good way, because it just feels like a retread. Like, this isn't anything new. I don't think it's anything that, like, I'm not excited for this movie, and I should be. Like, I'm not even, like, the biggest fan of The Matrix. I think it's good. I don't think it's, like, a great movie or anything, though. Or, like, a masterpiece. I still should be excited for this movie, but I am not looking forward to this movie off of the trailer. This trailer, quite honestly, looked... The more I've thought about it and watched it, the movie doesn't look good. It looks bad, in my opinion. What does that look like for the Oscars? Well, I think that it will still probably pick up sound and visual effects, which is what the original Matrix got. What it won't get that the original Matrix got with is editing. In no world, I will mark my words right now, in no world does this movie get a film editing nomination like 1999's The Matrix did. Absolutely, 100% not. Somebody's gonna play this footage later, but it's not happening. Not at all. But yeah, I don't have too many thoughts on this movie. It did not look good to me, though. Visual effects and sound still do look strong. I could see them maybe snubbing one of them. If it just like the visual effects or sound design, it just feels like a retread of the original Matrix, but we'll see. Christopher Nolan announced that his next film will be about Robert Oppenheimer and the atom bomb. Again, I mentioned this in my Matt's Movie Minute video very briefly, but this feels like a return to The Prestige. Again, both The Prestige as in the film Prestige, which is very, very good. And like it's historical. There's a lot of great tech stuff that doesn't feel over the top to me in it. It picked up cinematography, which is a big nomination, as well as production design. But I think this is going to be a big prestige film. Current fan casting right now is Robert Pattinson. I think that he could be really, really good in the role. I mean, Robert Pattinson's a great actor. He's phenomenal. He's done so many great independent stuff that like nobody's seen. I have to admit, I've seen very little of it. But what I have seen of like his run since the Twilight era, is really good, really really good. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 5 years he picks up an Oscar. I'll say it now. And maybe it's for this movie. We don't know when it's coming out. He isn't even cast. This is just my personal fan casting. I think that he would be really good in the role. But Oscar potential, like for a movie like this, I could see it probably getting something like cinematography. I could see this movie getting screenplay. I could see this movie getting editing. You know the three things that I just said? Cinematography, editing, screenplay. Those usually lead to director and picture. Those are like the big five. Picture, director, screenplay, editing, cinematography. Like, that's the package right there. You don't need acting stuff. Like, acting stuff is kind of pointless now. Even like the SAG ensemble is a thing, like you have to get SAG ensemble to get picture. No, that isn't a thing anymore. You need screenplay, editing, cinematography, and director. This movie, just off of what it is about, seems very promising for that. It's historical, that leads to production design, costumes, etc. This movie looks really, really strong. And I'm just excited to see what Nolan does with it. I'm really, really excited. Another director that I'm excited for is Paul Thomas Anderson. And he announced the title of his new film. And it is Licorice Pizza, not Soggy Bottom. We finally got a title for it. It's Licorice Pizza. How do I feel about this? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what this is. Yeah. I can't decide if I love it or I hate it. Like, is this a genius title? Or is it just the stupidest thing I've ever heard? Like, the only plot that we know of is that it's about these high school kids who drop out to become actors. What does it have to, like, do they eat licorice pizza? Is it that important of a thing for it to be the title? I kind of feel like this was just Paul Thomas Anderson just like getting like, hey, let's go through this random word generator and see what comes out. He's just like, well, licorice pizza. My mind is blown. Let's do it as a movie title. Because you know what this does? It catches people's attention. You know what it did? It caught my attention. I mean, I was already interested in this movie, and he titles it Licorice Pizza. I'm like, I mean, kind of have to see it now. Want to know why it's called Licorice Pizza? So I think I've decided live on air. This title is genius. Moving on with more Licorice Pizza news. It's gonna be weird not calling this movie Soggy Bottom. I've called it Soggy Bottom for like the past year. But John C. Reilly, Ben Stiller, Christopher Walken, and Sean Penn all joined Bradley Cooper in the cast. Now this is a really interesting ensemble. Because like Ben Stiller, we've seen dive into more dramatic stuff like Meyerowitz stories. John C. Reilly, I can't remember if he's a big Oscars contender at all. I mean, Christopher Walken is a great actor. Um, I mean, he's been nominated twice, I believe, but both like a long time ago. Didn't he win? Did he win for The Deer Hunter? I can't remember if Christopher Walken won for The Deer Hunter. Let me look it up. Yes, he did win for The Deer Hunter. Okay. Again, that was like 40 years ago. Then like Sean Penn's been nominated a lot, but again, it's been a while. So it has a pretty decent ensemble as far as Oscars goes. Um, but it's all seems like it's been a while for them. Bradley Cooper definitely feels like the leading man out of this. I'm curious to see if like if there's a female lead, if so, who she is, or if there's just gonna be female characters in supporting roles. Because as of now, I believe we just have the male cast announced, just those five. Um, last Licorice Pizza piece of news. So Johnny Greenwood, you heard of him? Radiohead, doing the score for Power of the Dog, doing the score for Spencer. Now he's doing the score for Licorice Pizza. Guys, could Johnny Greenwood get triple nominated? Could that actually be a thing? Like, is that possible? Like, we've heard some of his score for Power of the Dog. People have said that it's great. We've heard like that, like his Spencer score is great. I mean, we don't know anything about Licorice Pizza. We just learned what the title was this week. But like, if the score for that is good, which like it's a Paul Thomas Anderson film, it probably is. I mean, Johnny Greenwood's great. Like the triple nomination could be happening. Like Johnny Greenwood could be making waves this year. Like he would have over half of the nominations. He would be the majority of the nominees. Like I would love to see that at the Oscars. And the nominees are Spencer, Johnny Greenwood, The Power of the Dog, Johnny Greenwood, and Licorice Pizza, Johnny Greenwood. Then two other people that aren't going to win because Johnny Greenwood's going to get an Oscar this year. I don't know for what movie, but Johnny Greenwood is getting an Oscar. I wonder if they just like they just keep the camera on him the whole time. It'd be pretty funny. Yeah, lot to get excited for if you're a Johnny Greenwood fan of any kind. All right, let's talk about some first reactions out of TIFF. And I won't be talking about what people thought of like Dune or something at TIFF. We already got first reactions on Metacritic. Of course those scores have changed. Like Spencer dropped down to like an 83, but I'm not too concerned right now with that. We'll talk about that in my next Best Picture prediction video. Something that is interesting is Dear Evan Hansen. Is this going to get any Oscar nominations? No. Wanna know why? It has a 39 on Metacritic. This movie I don't think there's any original songs. Like, we thought, oh, maybe it could get like a supporting performance or something. Amy Adams maybe getting in because the Oscars like to nominate her but not give her any wins. Justice for Arrival. Was she even? No, she might have not even been nominated for Arrival. I don't think she was even nominated for Arrival. I take that back. Yeah, she wasn't nominated for Arrival. The Oscars hate Amy Adams, so she wasn't getting nominated anyways. Justice for Arrival. But yeah, the movie has a 39. It's getting nothing. Any hope that people had is gone. It's not happening. Dear Evan Hansen isn't a thing. I'm sorry. The last Duel premiered, got a 60. So this movie isn't getting Best Picture. We know that now. The Best Picture for the last Duel, not a thing. I think that Jodie Comer could still probably get actress. Like people have been saying that she's pretty good. Um, but like other than that, I don't think this gets anything above the line. Like it's probably just like production design, costumes, maybe, maybe. I mean, it could get score, I guess. But yeah, I think that the Last Duel is gonna be. I think it's still definitely get nominated places. But just not a lot of nominations. I think it's gonna be very very limited. All right, heading into our next story. Really, it's two. Um, so we got some release date news. So Nightmare Alley has been delayed from December 1st to December 17th. Does this mean anything? Probably not. Disney says that they think they're going to be able to get some box office numbers from this movie. Um, I mean, maybe. I guess. I don't know. This doesn't really feel like it's going to be a box office hit, especially in today's climate with the box office. And then Canterbury Glass was scheduled by Disney for November 4th, 2022. A major contender for David O. Russell. Whatever you think of David O. Russell, this movie is going to be a massive contender. It has an insane ensemble cast. Like this might already be winning SAG Ensemble for next year. I shouldn't say that. But they're putting it in prime Oscars position November 4th. That makes me think that they'll probably throw it into like TIFF and then release it 2 months later. Um, so nothing too noteworthy there, but just worth mentioning briefly. Um, let's talk about Oscar buzz for this week quick before we head into the main topic of the show, the Venice Film Festival Awards. So what should we talk about first? First, let's talk about *Malignant*. So I am not finished with this movie. I am halfway through. Um, but it's weird. What I do think this movie has a shot at is sound. I actually really like this movie's chances. Okay, no, I don't like this movie's chances in sound. I don't know what I was saying, but this movie has at least a little bit of a chance in sound. If it's gonna get anything. Queen Pins came out. And you know what? I think that people forgot that this movie came out, so we don't need to talk about it. And then the card counter. So this is a festival movie. Um, and yeah, like Metacritic reactions were good. But I don't feel like this is gonna get anything. Like Oscar Isaac would have had to have been really, really strong. And it sounds like he's just like good, but that isn't going to be. That isn't gonna do anything. I really don't see this movie getting nominated anywhere. So pretty lackluster week, for Oscar stuff. But next week's gonna be big. I mean, we got Eyes of Tammy Faye. We've got Cry Macho. We've got everybody's talking about Jamie. I'm calling it now. Richard E. Grant gonna play spoiler this season in supporting actor. Plus Blue Bayou, which I believe came out at Cannes. So potential contender there. Definitely a big indie spirits player. All right, let's talk about the Venice Film Festival Awards. Let's jump into it. Yeah. So this was interesting. This was really interesting. Okay. Let's jump into it. Best Young Actor went to Filippo Scotti of The Hand of God. Who else was it gonna go for? For anybody tracking the young actor race, it's basically gonna be between Filippo Scotti, Hand of God, the kid from Come On, and then the kid from Belfast. Those are your three. Last year it was Alan Kim versus Helena Zengel. Here are your three for this year. So the special jury prize, which is like the third place, I believe, went to Il Buccio, Il Buccio, directed by Michelangelo Framatino. Names are really hard. Um, but is this movie an Oscar player? No, it's the third place prize. It isn't gonna get anything. Best screenplay went to The Lost Daughter for Maggie Gyllenhaal. So this was kind of unexpected. I was kind of expecting this to go to Parallel Mothers. That was my pick because they only award one thing to each film, not counting like the Young Actor Award. I just wanted to throw that in there. But I thought that Parallel Mothers was gonna get this because and then I had Lost Daughter getting the special jury prize because I thought that Kristen Stewart was going to get actress, but no, it went to Penelope Cruz for Parallel Mothers, and Spencer didn't get anything. Spencer didn't get anything, nothing. What? Like, I thought that this movie had a shot at the Golden Lion. I'm gonna be completely honest. If it wasn't gonna get actress, and then we'll get into the Golden Lion later because that has some really interesting implications. But one, Kristen Stewart is Kristen Stewart still the front runner for actress? Because like we saw all this hype come out about her, like she's amazing, and then she doesn't even win the Volpe Cup. Is she still the front? Like, but if she's not the front runner, who's the front runner? Is it Penelope Cruz? Like, this definitely propels Penelope Cruz into like solidly into my top 5. But this is weird. This is weird, and the fact that Spencer got nothing, really, really weird. I don't know. I really don't know. Big for Penelope Cruz though. This is really big for Penelope Cruz. John Arcalia won Best Actor for On the Job, Missing 8. Nobody cares. It was either going to be Benedict Cumberbatch or it was going to be irrelevant. And it was Benedict Cumberbatch because Jane Campion won the Silver Lion for Best Director for The Power of the Dog. So, we've heard mixed things about Power of the Dog. We've heard that it's very polarizing. The fact that Jane Campion was still able to get Best Director here at Venice is promising. It's important. I can't remember. I believe Power of the Dog is showing at TIFF. I'm pretty positive Power of the Dog is showing at TIFF. If she's able to pull out director there, then I think it's safe to keep her solidly in our top 5. But there's so much hype behind Power of the Dog. I mean, I know I had it in my top 3. I know a lot of people had it at their number 1. Then we started hearing these really polarizing things. It was still able to pick up the Best Director Silver Lion. That's important. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes for Power of the Dog, but he's able to pick up something. The Silver Lion Grand Jury Prize, which is second place, went to The Hand of God, Pablo Sorrentino's film. Again, this is important because this is another movie we heard polarizing things about. It's like, this movie's gonna easily win Best International Feature, and then had a shot at like director, screenplay, etc. And then it got a 76 on Metacritic. Okay, well, it picked up second at Venice. Do I think that it's still gonna get director and screenplay? No, but I think that the international feature race is close. I mean, you have this, you have Parallel Mothers, and then you have whatever France submits. Because The Golden Lion went to Happening, directed by Audrey Dewan. Not Power of the Dog, not The Hand of God, not Parallel Mothers, not Spencer, not even The Lost Daughter. It went to Happening. This was a movie I hadn't even heard of until it won the Golden Lion. So now, I just posted a video on what I thought France was going to submit, and then, by the time I got done editing that I saw that this won Venice. I was like, oh, what? Like, France now has a 4-horse race. You got Titan. You have Petite Maman. You have Paris 13th District. And you now have Happening. Titan wins the Palme d'Or at Cannes. Then you have Happening winning the Golden Lion at Venice. France is cleaning up at the film festivals. They are crushing at the film festivals. But now, what are they going to submit? It's really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. But that is the end of the show. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. You can find me on Letterboxd. I already plugged everything. You don't want to hear more from me. Bit of a shorter show, but plenty to talk about next week as we'll be nearing on the end of TIFF. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. And until next time, stay safe and goodbye.